Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dillon. You're joining me for another Dolphins with Dillon. Before I get into the articles for today, I wanted to note something interesting. Last night I had watched a video on YouTube from NFL Total Access. It was a little clip that was put up about them predicting the Dolphins' record for this year. It actually seemed a little bit more like a, what they would need to do kind of thing. But all they did, they just had their screen up with the schedule, and they went through and they were like, I think they're going to win this, think they're going to win this. You know how it goes if you've seen NFL Total Access. Anyway, so I was actually a little surprised. I watched it thinking they were going to be like, oh, the Dolphins are going to suck. They're going to fucking be terrible. They're never going to make it to the playoffs, blah, blah. They actually had us going 11-5. And that would probably be enough to make it to the playoffs. Maybe not win the division. Unless, of course, we ended up, going 6-0 within the division with that overall record. But in their example, we did not beat the Patriots the first time in Foxborough, but we did beat them in Miami, and we did sweep the Bills and Jets, according to them. Anywho, so that was that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And today there are some things to talk about. So let's see, that was the first one. Bear with me for just a moment. I gotta find my articles here. Okay, so first article, the first one is the Daily Dolphin, from the Daily Dolphin, and it's about Jesse Davis, our guard. So this is their breakdown of him. Height, weight, 6'6", 325 pounds, from Idaho. That's his college. He's 26 years old, second NFL season, both with Dolphins. Acquired, he was signed as a free agent. Contract, his second year of a 2-year, $1 million contract, will become a restricted rights free agent after this season. But I would venture to guess they're going to be trying to keep him long term, because it looks like he's going to end up being our starting right guard, not just for this year, but probably for the foreseeable future. Pro Football Focus ranks 63rd out of 77, so he was kind of on the lower end, but he did some really good things for us last year, and it was his rookie year, it was his first season. He was also an undrafted free agent, so he does obviously have a pretty, uphill climb, a substantial uphill climb, but I mean, he's going to be our starter, and he's shown some good things, and I think he will help stabilize the line. In 2017, he started 10 of 16 games. Straight talk. Davis is why NFL teams load up on undrafted free agents as soon as the draft ends. An overwhelming number of these players walk away with little more than a jersey and a memory, but a few realize their dream. In Davis's case, he didn't stick with the Seahawks and Jets, but in November of 2016, the Dolphins added him to their practice squad. 2 months later, he was signed onto the active roster, and as last season wore on, this one-time bubble player was carving out a starting role. Definitely a roller coaster, he said. How did he do it? Versatility helped get him a foot in the door. Davis started 6 games at right guard, 2 at left guard, and 2 at right tackle. He is one of only 5 Dolphins to start at 3 positions on the offensive line in one season. None of the others were in their first year. That won't be repeated this season, as the Dolphins were beginning their off-season training. Line coach Jeremiah Washburn called Davis with unsurprising news. He was like, "Hey, we haven't told you yet." I was like, "Well, I figured it would kind of come out somewhere," Davis said. He said, "You're going to get the right guard spot starting out." He said he thinks I earned it, and they like what they see so far. Davis gave himself mixed reviews for last season, alternately saying not very good to I guess you can say I held my own. Beyond the experience factor, one reason to expect improvement in 2018 is that the Dolphins have settled on a home for him. It's definitely a lot easier focusing on one spot, Davis said. It's the same as last year. I finished the season out at guard, so I'm not shocked to be there. But it's a lot better to be there rather than switching from left to right or vice versa. Now, obviously, his versatility and ability to play the multiple spots gives him, longer lasting staying power and so on and so forth. But it is good if he can settle into that right guard spot and be a consistent force for us there. Prospects for 18. Davis and veteran Josh Sitton, penciled in as the starting left guard, combined to form the latest reboot of the Dolphins guard tandem. Together they give the Dolphins perhaps their best chance to solidify the interior line after years of mediocre results, or worse. Davis said the fact he's focusing on one position doesn't mean he's content. You have to reinvent yourself every day, he said. A coach told me that my rookie year, and it's always stuck with me. You can't just come in here thinking that you've got something. You've got to come in here with an attitude and mindset that I've got to take that job every day. That's why I'm the first one to see a mistake that I've made, and I'm always hard on myself. Everything you can think of, I need to get better at. So there's that. That's how they feel about Jesse Davis and how he feels about himself, as well as their overall breakdown and so on and so forth. And like I said, I think he's definitely going to be huge for us. I think he's going to take a step forward, and I think he really is going to help solidify that line finally. All right, moving on. The next thing I have for you is there was a video. It was on Twitter. It came from NFL though, NFL.com. It looks like, and it was the 50 best catches of 2017. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them. It was a video, so you can watch it. But I will say that there were 3 Dolphins catches on there. The first one being Julius Thomas, who obviously is no longer on the team, but he came in at 24. All of our the Dolphins catches came in 24 and better, which was pretty cool. So Julius Thomas came in at 24 with a pretty nasty, going up and over the defender, one-handed grab kind of catch. It was nice. Check out the video, you'll see it. And then I'm sure you will remember it from the season. We wonder why he couldn't do that more fucking often, but whatever. Anyway, then next was K. Stills at number 18. He had that crazy, he goes up to get the ball. The defender kind of knocks it loose. It bounces up into the air. He goes to the ground. He's juggling it, bobbling it around, but he ends up securing it without going out of bounds, and it ended up being a catch. It was one of those, K. Stills puts all his focus into it catches. And it was brilliant. So that was number 18. And then Devontae Parker had one that came in at number 7. And that was that crazy one-handed catch that he made along the sideline. Like diving backwards, one-handed catch. 2 defenders on him. The corner and the safety coming over to help. He gets it. It was initially ruled out of bounds, but then they reviewed it and his knee came down inbounds, so it was a completion. Brilliant catch. Brilliant catch, and just obviously another sign of what DVP can do and what he can be for us, and what we all hope that he's going to bring out on a very consistent basis this year. Let's see. Where is it? So, the next one is Pro Football Focus ranks all 32 teams' run defense for this upcoming year. Now, they obviously used their grades and so on from last year, and then, projected based on what's happened in the offseason and so on and so forth. Now, they have us ranked 32, so they think our run defense is going to be the worst out of anybody, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But one of their biggest reasons is Ndamukong Suh being gone. So anyway, this is what they say. Top 3 run defense grades among returning players. William Hayes is an edge defender at 90.5 run defense grade. Rashad Jones, 90.0, and a TJ McDonald an 80.7. So obviously they're also, saying it because 2 of our highest run grades came from players who play at the safety position. And that's not exactly what you want. I mean, it's good that they have high run grades, but you don't want them to be the, some of the top players, obviously. You want your defensive line, primarily your tackles and, linebackers. But it'll pick up, I think. I think we're not going to be 32. Anyway, missed tackle percentage on run plays, 2017, 14%. That was 28th in the league. I definitely think that's going to improve a lot. But we'll obviously have to see. After losing Ndamukong Suh in his 92.4 run defense grade, the Dolphins' run defense could be ugly in 2018. Starting linebacker Kiko Alonso's 5.3 run stop percentage a season ago was one of the worst in the NFL, while nose tackle Jordan Phillips' 3.1 figure was even more unsightly. So they don't have too high hopes for us in that regard. I think that's not going to be the case, but, we'll see. Next is a article from Pro Football Talk, and here's what they had to say. Danny Amendola, Gase is one of the guys, Belichik is like a principal. That's the title. So here's what it says. Danny Amendola left the Patriots for the Dolphins in free agency this offseason, and he's already feeling the difference in coaching styles. Amendola said on Comeback SZN podcast that playing for Dolphins coach Adam Gase is like playing for a friend, while playing for Patriots coach Bill Belichick is like playing for the boss. Coach Gase is one of the guys, one of the boys, and you want to fight hard for your boys. Back in New England, it's almost like you've got a principal, the principal's office and shit like that, Amendola said. Amendola wasn't ripping Belichick, whom he also called the greatest coach of all time, but he was saying that as a veteran player, he now appreciates having a coach who treats him more like an equal. It's been great, Amendola said of spending the offseason in Miami. It's worked out amazing. All the guys are cool, the team is cool, my group is cool, the coaches are awesome, Coach Gase is one of the guys. He's our leader, he's our coach, but he's also our boy. So it's cool. It's refreshing to have that kind of relationship with a coach, something I haven't had in a long time. I FaceTimed Coach Gase yesterday just to bullshit with him, just to talk to him. I was talking to his kids. I have a relationship with him that's real unique, something I haven't had in a while. Amendola was looking for that kind of environment when he became a free agent this year. When free agency broke and I had the opportunity to talk to other teams and coaches and see what was out there, Coach Gase called and he was cool from the jump. We talked about football, we talked about life, we talked about Miami, we talked about New England. We talked about what we both had been through. Amendola said, he's one of the guys and he works hard. He embraces the grind. He's up at the facility 24/7 and he's obsessed with the game. So anytime you get around a coach like that, a coach you can relate to, a coach that will grind with the guys, you want to play hard for him. Now Amendola will try to help the Dolphins show that a team can win with a coach who is one of the guys. So, real quick I want to say about that, there have obviously been, if you've heard, Cassius Marsh was pretty recent, but tons of guys have talked about how it's great to play in New England because they win and because they get championships from that aspect, but it sucks to play in New England because it's so tedious, it's so, drudging, and it's not really any fun. It's just all go all the time, all work all the time. They don't ever, there's no play in there, and they have a unfun time in New England. Anyway, but a lot of people talk about it and they're like, a lot of the analysts and so on, they talk about it and they're like, well, but they win so much, so obviously they're doing some shit right, blah blah blah, and that's how it goes. You gotta be, tough to fucking win consistently like they do. But I don't agree with that. I think that that's how it's been, and I think that is a model, is modeled after the world in general, and the way that society is and so on and so forth. But it doesn't have to be, you know, just like my personal views of the world, you know, I have a whole nother podcast that I talk about, you know, real life shit called Real Talk, so I won't really get into too much. But, you know, I don't think that the world has to be so terribly inefficient or chaotic or, you know, whatever. People don't need to be so greedy and hateful and envious. They don't need to squabble and fight amongst each other. You know, the world can be a pretty and beautiful place, right? It can be prosperous for all people. You know, we just have to do something about it. Now, having said that, I don't think that, and why that is relevant is I don't think that, you know, you have to have an environment where it's, now, look, you know, Don Shula was a lot the same way. Got it. But I think Gase and, you know, this coaching staff and everything, and with the way that the world is changing, hopefully it's changing for the better, and hopefully Gase will be able to show that, hey, you know, I mean, and he's tough. You know, he traded Ajayi. He got rid of Landry and Sue. And you know, his first year, he cut Billy Turner, Dallas Thomas, and Jamil Douglas after, you know, a super shitty 5-game streak, right? And then we went to win 6 games in a row and made it 10-6 and went to the playoffs. So I think he's going to show and prove that you don't have to have an environment, and this is all part of the whole culture thing that he talks about that a lot of people seem to not really fucking, you know, take seriously. A lot of people say, you know, I don't buy, like Omar Kelly, I read this thing the other day, I don't buy the culture thing. I don't buy the culture bullshit. Dude, get the fuck out of here. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, man. It's like take the Marines, for example, or the Army, or, you know, SEALs. It's a super, especially with the SEALs and the Marines. I mean, obviously, because the Army is broad and there's a lot of people, different groups, and so on and so forth, different jobs, whatever. But when you take those couple groups, the Marines, the SEALs, super, super, super tight-knit. It's an extreme brotherhood, and they have each other's backs no matter what. They love each other. They're there for each other. They have each other's backs. They have fun together. They hang out together. They have bonds, right? When you have that, it's so much stronger than what you're going to have in New England. And with such chaos and turmoil and just all the time, right? I believe that Adam Gase is going to be, you know, the next Don Shula, the next Bill Belichik, but he's going to do it in a way where he proves that you can have fun, that it can be enjoyable, that you can be, you know, buddies with your fucking players, and that when you do that, when you have both the coach who's going to be there and he's going to be tough on you, he's going to push you, he's going to make sure that you're accountable and you're held up to high quality standards, right? When you have a coach that's going to do that, but he's also going to be there for you, he's always going to get your back, he'll go to bat for you if, you know, something happens, but you've always proven to be reliable and work hard, right? He's going to support you if you do your job and you bust your ass. He's going to fight for you to get paid, right? It's a much more conducive environment to overall winning sustainably and healthy. You know, it's going to be healthy, man. And, you know, like the Patriots, they're notorious for just keeping a guy long enough to fucking, you know, get squeezed, literally squeeze every last little bit, and then they just toss him to the side. You know, like, nah, fuck that. Anyway, I went off on kind of a little bit of a rant there, so I am going to be moving on. Okay, let's see. Bear with me. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry about that. So the next article I have for you is by the Palm Beach Post, and it's about the Miami Dolphins and what their worth is these days. Fabulous. Interesting. See, this is some off-season shit, but training camp is here, people. Just about, anyway. The Miami Dolphins are the 25th most valuable sports franchise in the world. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. The Dolphins are worth $2.575 billion, which outranks some other notable franchises such as the Green Bay Packers at 2.55, Boston Celtics at 2.5, Manchester City at 2.474, Arsenal at 2.238, and the New York Mets at 2.1. As Forbes notes, the NFL is king of the world of sports. 37% of Americans picked football as their favorite sport to watch in the latest Gallup poll, Forbes reports. Basketball, baseball, and soccer trail at 11, 9, and 7%. NFL teams each earn $255 million in shared television rights. The most valuable franchises in the world are the Dallas Cowboys at $4.84 billion, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, New York Yankees, New England Patriots, New York Knicks, Los Angeles Lakers, New York Giants, and Golden State Warriors. The NFL lands 29 teams among the 50 most valuable sports franchises for the second straight year, according to Forbes. Owner Stephen Ross reportedly completed his purchase of 95% of the Dolphins for $1 billion in 2009. The year before, Ross bought 50% of the franchise, Dolphin Stadium and surrounding land for $550 million. Ross has spent more than $550 million to turn Hard Rock Stadium into a world-class facility, which also improves the value of the franchise. And then that also doesn't include the supposed $75 million new training facility that they're getting ready to do as well. Alright, and let's see, I got one more here from the Palm Beach Post. It is top pick Minkah Fitzpatrick begins working on great legacy with Miami Dolphins. And this is their breakdown of him. Height, weight, 6'1", 202. From Alabama, that's his college. Age 21, it's his rookie year. First round pick, 11th overall. He has a 4-year, $16.4 million rookie contract. Nothing from 2017 in the NFL, but obviously his stats from last year at Alabama: 60 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 9 passes defensed, and 1 interception. Won Chuck Bednarik Award as nation's top defensive player. We're already seeing signs of why the selection of Fitzpatrick, which wasn't a pick based on need, instead was labeled a safe pick. Fitzpatrick arrived in South Florida happy to be taken 11th overall and saying it was a goal, but insisting it wasn't an end goal. I didn't come here just to be a first-round pick, he said. I wanted to be a great player here and establish a great legacy here. Fitzpatrick did that at Alabama, drawing rare praise from Nick Saban. Given Saban's relationship with Dolphins coach Adam Gase, there's no question the Dolphins received a full scouting report from Saban before making the pick. He's probably about as advertised, defensive coordinator Matt Burke said. He's really sharp, he's thirsty for knowledge and for more, and we're trying to overload him a little bit. We keep giving him more and he keeps taking it. He spends a lot of extra time in the building on his own, working out, studying film. One person Fitzpatrick hopes to impress this fall is owner Stephen Ross, who reportedly had to be sold on the team drafting Fitzpatrick. I heard about it, Fitzpatrick said. He's a businessman, so he's going to see the business side of everything. It's a little extra motivation just to prove that I am the worthy pick, that I deserve to be here. Prospects for 2018. The study time Fitzpatrick puts in is important for any rookie, but that much more so for a player who's seeing reps at strong safety, free safety, and nickel. His spring reps were about evenly distributed among the three, with more wrinkles to come in training camp. The Dolphins have kicked around the possibility of fielding 3 safeties, with Fitzpatrick lining up alongside Rashad Jones and TJ McDonald. As for now, all accounts say Fitzpatrick isn't overwhelmed. They're not putting too much on me, but they're definitely putting a lot on me at the same time, he said during OTAs. Some spring workouts were open to the media, but many were not. He's got his hands on a lot of balls, Gase said. He's had a few interceptions. He seems to be all over the place. Yeah, so there's definitely high hopes for our first-round pick this year. Obviously, I think he's going to start at free safety along Rashad Jones. There probably will be 3 safety packages in there that they're going to mess around with, and I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be interesting to see. And I think he's going to have a really good year. I think he's going to end up being the defensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. So we'll see. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. So as always, if you like it, make sure that you subscribe, you hit the like button, you comment, you send it around to your friends, tell them about it. And of course, I said this already, make sure to subscribe. It's the most important thing. And I'll see you again soon.